This is a quick wrap-up film just covering a few additional items, particularly the inside. When I started taking these exterior finished photos for you, I noticed I hadn't wrapped up this interior look here. And so the outside thus far, everything you've seen is based on that margin being there. But I'm not sure we need this big chunky beam in here. And your thoughts may differ, and if you wanted to go back, you can obviously do that. So I did it that way and just brought that up, and we pick up about an additional 6 inches on our screening. And I'll mention that these beams, remember, were used to divide this 12'6" length soffit material into some margins that we don't have seams, little gaps here and there through it, with the J-channel on the ceiling there. And here's the last little bit, is just these beams. This is what I was showing on the plans. That ceiling fan is supposed to be centered on that, and those two beams were based on spacing those ceiling fans just according to the science, which is 1x, 2x, 1x. But I don't know about that big center gap. There's probably an argument that this could be done at that end, and another beam similar to this put up at that end. Secondly, when we push this beam up here, it eliminates this bit of siding that used to come down and fill this little triangular piece here like these ones do. But I don't see another way around that if we want to do it this way. And this siding is either lapping over that end beam or is set back against the plywood and with a piece of drip channel or whatever here. Notice also I have a piece of drip channel here, and that's called out on the plans. That's probably a good idea. The screen's mounted on the outside, but that's a lot of flat area up there that should be protected from water. And so then there's just an argument: do we add that center beam right through here to break this ceiling up a little bit more? And that ends up dividing these. If we divide these all even, there's 4 spaces, and they're each about 5 feet. So you would lose about 2.5 feet off of each of those 12'6" panels. So just keep that in mind. And then inside, it's like that. And then the ceiling fan gets moved a little bit, about 5 inches, to match that. I actually kind of like this better. I mean, you do have these. I think you have to put these two in just to solve that ceiling material issue. But this extra one here, I think, I just don't like that big center gap. It's unbalanced to me. But you can do what you like. And this, I've been showing just that typical soffit material here, but that should probably be like a beaded vinyl ceiling like this. And these are just a couple insides with the single beam shown. And now these finished photos, they don't account for any of that additional beam work inside. But you can see this is the first version with those screens low, and I hadn't finished that interior piece there, and that's what tipped me off or led to this. And then once that is done, it goes up like that. And from this angle, you see where this siding stretches down on here, and this stays on its own. So I'm not sure, you'll have to decide, is that extra screen worth, I don't know, if this is maybe just a little funky right here. And finally, from this last angle with the low screen and the high screen. So that's it. Thanks very much. One other thing for the builder, if it's not really clear on those plans, the idea was that these outside, that middle platform becomes flights of stairs that come down and land on that platform and are suspended from it coming down to here. Flight here and a flight here. And then these outside bands or these outside stringers are not notched for that, but instead there's a piece of wood mounted to the side of that 4x4 and going down to the footing. And that actually is probably would be best if that were like 2.5 or 3, whatever will bring its surface out to the surface of this stringer to hold that up. So you can't really see it here, but that was the idea, that there's a vertical piece that comes down here to hold those outside stringers. And then you have 3 more stringers in the middle. You space them at 16 centered. That's all on that.